Yeah, good morning, all. So, welcome to lecture number 17 on the mobile application development. As we know from the last lecture, we have started with the new chapter, that is the chapter number 4, which deals with the various kind of input controls available in Android. Then, what are the input events related to that input controls, and how to generate the dialog boxes in the Android. So, in the last lecture, we have seen some of the controls such as a text view. We saw the different types of buttons and what are the different types of events that are available for buttons. Now, today also we are going to cover some of the controls, and the rest of the controls we are going to cover in the next lecture. So, let's try to see which are the controls available for this lecture. So the first control and the event handling for this particular control that we are going to cover is basically a checkbox. Okay. Now this control that you already have worked with the Java as well as the C Sharp.NET. Now the same kind of control is available here. So if you want to give any of the choice, okay, or if you want to give the multiple choices out of n choices, you use basically a checkbox. Now, the reason behind I haven't written anything on the PowerPoint presentation is this is more of a coding part. Okay, so this is not a theoretical part. You already know what is the use of the checkbox. You already know how the checkbox look. Okay, and how to handle the event or how to handle the checkbox related operations. Then that we can see actually in a programming way. Okay, so let's see how we can handle the different events related to the checkbox. Okay, so our Android Studio first of all. Okay, so we'll start with the simple example first, and then we'll go coding more complex example. Okay, so let's try to a single checkbox. Okay, so for that we need to the XML element of type checkbox inside our XML layout. So this text view uh, with the corresponding element, and that's basically called as a checkbox. And what we can call just for demo purpose. Okay, for every item or for every user interface control, we are now providing the ID. Okay, so let's call it as a CB1. Okay, so just CB1 stands for just checkbox one. Now we have created a checkbox in order to handle the event on the checkbox. I need to refer that particular checkbox. Okay, so for referring a checkbox in a Java file, we have the object of class checkbox. So let's call it as a CB or checkbox one. Okay, now this is just a reference. Now I need to map the XML checkbox into this particular checkbox one reference. So I can say checkbox find view by ID r dot id dot cb1 that we already know. Now the event that you're supposed to handle is the on check change event. Okay, so what I'm saying is for checkbox, the corresponding event that you are supposed to handle is on check change event. Okay, so let me write the event handler itself inside the on create method. So I can say checkbox one dot on change listener. So because on check change event is listened by a specific listener, and that is called as on check change listener. And in order to register the on check change listener, we have to call the method set on check change listener. So you can say checkbox one dot set on check change listener. As you can see, set on check change listener takes a parameter of type the object we'll going to create the anonymous inner class here. So new on change listener. Okay. Now basically, if you see here, the on check change listener consists of one abstract method, because we know all of the listener class, but all the listeners are nothing but the interfaces. And since they are the interfaces, that will be the abstract. So if you are implementing the interfaces, we need to override the abstract method. So what I can say is checkbox one dot set on check change listener, and we are actually extending, or we are actually implementing our interface that is called as on check change listener interface by implementing an anonymous inner class. Now, we have to override the abstract method present in it. Okay. Now, which abstract method present in it is the on check change method. Okay. Now, as you can see, the on check change is automatically given by. Okay. Now, this particular on check change method takes two parameters. The first parameter is the compound button. Okay. And second parameter is the Boolean value. What do you mean by that? So the first parameter, which is the command button, it basically a parent of the checkbox. It's basically a parent class of checkbox. Okay. Now, whenever we click on specific checkbox, the reference to that particular checkbox will be passed as a first parameter. So, in this case, since we are clicking on checkbox one, so since we are clicking on this particular checkbox, that's CB1, okay, so we can say will be passed as a first parameter to on change listener. So we can say this particular parameter compound button will now refer to the CB1. Okay, will now refer to the CB1. Now, based upon whether the checkbox is clicked or whether the checkbox is unchecked. Okay, so based upon whether the checkbox is checked or whether the checkbox is unchecked, the corresponding value will be passed as a parameter. Okay, so if box is checked, then the value of true. If the checkbox is unchecked, then the value of B will be false. Now let's try to see that. So what I say here is toast dot text. So I'll just try to display the text. So we are going to display it on the current application. So I main activity is, or I need to display the text on the checkbox. Now, how to display it? Now, we know whenever any checkbox is clicked, it means whether a checkbox is unchecked, the reference of that checkbox will be. So I can say I can get the information about the checkbox, whichever the checkbox parameter. Okay, so let's try to use here. So I'll call the first parameter here, so compound button, and we'll see. So, so I can get resource layout resource ID. Okay, so here we can get the resource ID. Then here we can get the actual ID present in the layout. Then we can get the text on the checkbox. Okay, so we will display the text on the checkbox. So we display it as compound button dot get text. At the same time, suppose display is checked or unchecked. Okay, so we said based on which particular parameter we are getting this particular information, based on the second parameter, that's B. So we know if the checkbox is checked, the B will be true, the value of B will be false. So we'll simply put it here. So just in order to differentiate between, I'll simply add a colon here, and then we'll append a B. And this toast should be shown for a long duration. Okay, so this is a toast that will be prepared, and in order to show the toast, I'll be simply calling a method dot show. see what we have done actually. So what we did is simply we created an XML checkbox element. We referred that checkbox element inside our main activity class by a corresponding class array box. Okay, we mapped the XML layout element into our reference by using a method find view by ID, and then we applied a method to register a listener with the checkbox, and the corresponding listener that should be registered with the checkbox is on check change listener. Okay, now based upon method overriding, we decided what to do with this particular checkbox. Okay, now let's try to run it. This is the device that we have, and since it's first time running, it will take some time to build our project and to run it. So you can see the Gradle build is running here. Yeah, so Gradle build is finished and it's installing the app. Now currently you can see there is no activity about the toast since the checkbox is not interacted. Now let me click on the checkbox. Now as you can see, once I click on the checkbox, it will show hello world : true. So what we did here is we compound get text. So compound button dot get text made the checkbox text to be displayed, and the B showed the actual state of the checkbox. So true means the checkbox was checked. Okay. Now let me click it once again. So again it will call checkbox changed event. So hello world, and now the checkbox is becoming as false. Okay. Now this is how we can handle a single checkbox. This is how we can handle a single checkbox. Okay. Now basically you can handle a single checkbox, or the actual use of the checkbox give the multiple choices to the user, to give the multiple choices to the user. Okay, so let's try to understand how to have multiple checkbox in such a way that we can take the information from the user in a feasible way. So first, try to have the multiple checkboxes in our layout file. So let me change the layout first of all. Change the layout from the constraint layout to the linear layout, and the orientation that the orientation vertical. Okay. Now let me let's say checkbox, and if every checkbox will has wrap content and wrap content. Now the first checkbox uh, so let's say the first checkbox will have the text as C, and this particular checkbox will have ID as let's say lang1. Okay, so language 1 we can say, and let me have the multiple checkboxes in this way. So I'll simply copy this checkbox and paste them one below another. Okay, so let's call the another checkbox as C++, and the ID of this will be. Okay, let me refresh the view. Is let's say Java, and the ID of this will be lang3, and this will have the ID as lang4. Okay. Now, yeah, so I think refresh the layout first of all. So let's go to the design. Since the checkbox are not visible, we are just so as you can see, C, C++ are visible to us. Okay, we can do is whichever the checkbox are checked by the user. Okay, whichever the checkbox which are checked by the user, we have to just make a list of them. We have to just make a list of them. Now, can anybody tell me what would be the easier way, what would be the easier logic to deal with such case? Can anybody give me the idea about this? So what I have is four checkboxes, and I have to the language selection by the user in an efficient data structure. I can process it very easily. So what can be the good method to do that? So regarding to the languages selected by the user in such a way that in an efficient way. So can anybody tell me what can be the good logic for that? Is saying we can store it in terms of a string, but again the problem is if I have a string, then what do you think? We need to concatenate all the language preferences. Suppose if the user selects C++ and Java, so we are concatenating C++ and Java in a single string. This is what you want to say, Kaushik. Concatenate the yeah. So the correct Kaushik, you are also right. But since we asked the efficient way, the more efficient way is to use the array list. Okay, so efficient data structure is to store. So let's say how we can deal with this. We have the activity main.xml, and in that we have four checkboxes. So in order to handle the four checkbox, so in order to handle the four check with boxes inside a Java file, so we need to have four checkbox references. Okay, so call it as L1, L2, L3, and L4. Okay, so each okay, we'll just map this particular checkboxes. So let's say L1 is equal to find view by ID r dot lang1. Okay, and let me copy this. And so I can say L2 is equal to r dot id dot lang2, L3 id dot lang3, and L4 is equal to find view by ID r dot id dot lang4. We have four boxes to the four different references. Now, as Kaushik said, but we'll use some efficient way. So rather than use string, I'll use the array list of type string. Okay, so let's see how we can do that. So for example, as selected langs. So we'll create the array list. We'll create in form of string. So I'll be creating the array list of string here, and we'll call it as let's say selected or known langs. Okay, known langs. It means known language. Okay, and initialize this particular reference inside the onConnect. This is how we particular. This is how the code will work in So you create all the references inside a class and you initialize all the references inside the onCreate method. Initialize the known-length object. So known-length is equal to new array list of, okay, even if you don't, this is optional, it doesn't matter. Created one array list and we have mapped all the 4 checkboxes to 4 variables. Okay, now what we can have here, okay, so we can now implement the event handling for the checkboxes. Now what is the logic behind that? If any of the checkbox is checked, if any of the checkbox is checked, it means user has selected that particular choice and hence to add that particular text inside the array list. If the then we just have to remove that particular element from the array list. This is the simple thing that we are supposed to do. Okay, so let me show you how we can do that. So what we can do is L1 dot set on check change listener. We'll be implementing new on check change listener. Okay. Say if b equals true, if b equals true, then what we can do here, we can add this particular box array list. So what is the name of known lengths dot add, and how we can add the simply command but dot text. Okay, component text. No languages dot add while parameter string, and if you see here the get text, the text provides us the type cat. So no problem with just apply the to string, which will convert it from the char sequence to string. Okay. Now, can be the easy way here is you can implement 4 listeners for all boxes. Each of the checkboxes. You can write a common listener for a single checkbox. So rather than writing 4 different listeners to the every box, what I will do is I will simply write a single on check change listener and apply it to all the 4 checkboxes. Okay, so this is a common thing that I showed. Okay, now in order to make your code easy, I'm implementing the on check listener. So let's say class algorithm listener. Okay, and it will implement the what we have to do here. Okay, so we have to insert the element inside the array list if the value of b is false. So what we can say, if the insert that element inside the array list, so what we can say is known lang or add compound but dot string. That's it. And once the user deselect or unchecks the corresponding checkbox, what we can say here is else what I can have is no thanks dot remove get text, sorry, get text dot to string. That's it. And this particular listener should register to each of the checkboxes. So how we can do that? Simple way. So L1 dot set on check change listener, and here we'll pass the object of the CB listener. Let's create the object of CB listener first of all. So CB listener, let's say CB listener itself, new CB listener. We pass this particular object as a parameter. Now we'll paste this code below. So I can say L1 dot set, L2 dot set, L3 dot set, and L4. Okay. So if I run the code, you'll be able to see I am successfully able to have all the checkboxes. But the problem is how we can confirm that our program is working or not. Okay, so we can simply uh, take one text view and we'll simply append that particular text view so that will confirm the program is working correctly or not. Okay, so below a checkbox, we'll take a simple text view to display items in our array list. So we can say we have a text view with wrap content and wrap content. So wrap content and wrap content as width and height. And this particular text view, yeah, my computer is slow. Just wait. Text view. And this particular text view will have the ID. So this particular checkbox text view will have an ID. And we'll map this particular text view in our Java file by creating the object of type text view. So let's say text view 4, and we'll map it by using the find view by ID method. We'll map it here. So let's info is equal to find view by ID r dot id dot info. Okay, and whenever we actually check that particular checkbox, okay, we'll be updating the text view. Okay, so we can say that info dot set text, and what should be the text given here? The text should be given lang dot to strings. So I can say known langs dot to. That's it. Okay. Now we'll try to run the code. So let's run the code here. So it's building a Gradle, and once this code is successfully executed, you'll be able to see the changes. So as you can see, the currently no checkbox is checked, so nothing is displayed on a text view. What we can do is we'll click a C++, and as you can see C++, then we'll click on Java, so it will display C++ and Java. Then we'll click C, so it displays C++, Java, and C. Then we uncheck the C++, for example, then it will only display Java and C. Suppose if I check PHP again, it will display Java, C, and PHP. If I check the C++, it will display Java, C, PHP, and C++. And if I uncheck the C, it will display Java, PHP, and C++. Now, this is how we can easily handle the multiple checkboxes in a single application. This is how we can easily handle the multiple checkboxes inside an application. Now there is a question for you. Okay, suppose if you have if you have a program related to shopping cart, if you have program related to shopping cart. Now for each shopping cart there is an item, and the information that you are supposed to store is four pieces of information. The first is the ID of that particular item. The second is the name of that particular item. The third is the cost of that particular item, and the fourth is suppose the quantity of that item. Okay, or suppose the company of that item. So you need to store four pieces of information. One is the ID. Okay, another is the name. Next is the price, and fourth is the company of that item. Okay, so you have to provide list of these particular items in the checkboxes, and based upon whatever items selected by the user, you are supposed to get the information of these items. So what will be the easy way for implementing such kind of solution? Can anybody? Yeah, Kiran has answered the question. Any other person? Any other person? So what I said is you have a shopping cart example. Each shopping cart consists of the items which has different things. Anyone? Yeah, no other person can imagine how to work on this particular solution. Yeah, no one. Okay. So let me give you the easiest solution is, since what we said is shopping cart is going to consist an item, and each item is having the four pieces of information. What we can have is a class. Okay, a simple class. So what we'll create here is uh, we'll simply create a new Java class. Now this is a plain Java class. Okay, so we'll create a plain Java class here, and let's call this particular plain Java class as item. Okay, so let's call this particular plain Java class as an item. So here we have created the item class. Now, as we said, each item will have the following things. One is the ID. Second is what? The name. So string name. The third is the price. So double price. And the fourth thing that we have is so what we can, so we will take just three things. Okay, now here we need to generate the code, so we'll just right click here and we'll click on generate. And what things we need to generate? So the constructor we need to generate. So first is the default constructor that we want. The second thing that we want to generate is the parameterized constructor, so we'll click on generate constructor. Then we'll generate a getter setter method for each. So alt insert, we want a getter method for all of the things, and we want to generate a toString method. So just right click here and click on generate, and we'll click on the toString method. So it will generate a to by displaying these particular things. Okay, so this is how you can create a class. You have to just display the checkboxes. You have to just display the checkboxes. Okay, now how you can display the checkbox, how you can display the checkboxes here? That's my next question. How you can display the checkboxes? Anyone? how I can display the checkboxes. Yeah, no one is able to answer this thing. Okay, so let's say we have four different items. Let's say we have four different. The first item is the mobile phone or a smartphone. The second item is a laptop. The third item is suppose a keyboard, and the fourth item may be, yeah. So fourth item, as per your choice, you can take any item. Okay, so let's see how we can do with this. So let me clear all the things in such a way that we are working from scratch here. Okay, so let's create all the four things here. So let's say item one is equal to new item. Okay, now here I want the ID as suppose uh, one dot uh, let's say uh, G9. Okay, so this is a smartphone, for example, which has a price of 200 rupees. Then let me create another item. Let me copy this thing and paste it here. So item I1, then I2. This is for I3 and this is for I4. So I2, I3, and I4. Okay. So let me write here 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's call it as an HP laptop. Okay, this will have the price as 300. Let me call it as Logitech mouse, and it will has a price of 50 rupees. And what I can say here, one more item. So I need a one more item. Idea about the one more item. Let's say charger here, and it will have the price somewhere around 100 rupees. Okay, so we have four different items here. We have the four different items here. Now we can push each of the item inside the array list. So let's say array list items or item list. Now this is basically a list of items. So we can say this will be the array list of items or over the items. Okay, and we will initialize it here. So array list item list. So item list is equal to new array list of type item. Now we can push each of the item inside this particular array list. So what we can have here is uh, item list dot push, sorry, item list dot add I1, and we'll do the same thing. So let me check what does the add return. It returns a boolean. So I need to copy this thing and paste it below. So I1, I2, I3, and I4. Okay, so we have pushed all the four things inside the item, and now what we do here is we can have a list. We can have a list here, Let me change the checkboxes here from the checkboxes to I say list view. So wrap content and wrap content. We will have an ID as @item or list item. Okay. And now we'll map it here. So let's go to the main activity and I can say list view LV, and we'll map this LV inside the checkboxes. So we can say LV is inside the from the XML. So let's say find view by ID r dot id dot. So what was the name of that element? It was a list item. So let me copy it and paste it here, r dot id dot list item, and we say lv dot set adapter. Okay, new array adapter. So this will be generating an array adapter. Okay, of type item, and here we want a list adapter. So new let me create the array adapter object first of all. So let's say list adapter or the array adapter. LA is equal to new list adapter, or let's say the array adapter first of all. Array adapter of type LA is equal to new array adapter of item, and now the array adapter takes 4 arguments basically. So if we check how many arguments it takes, so let's press control and click here and let's see what it can take. So it takes 3 parameters first of all. The first is the context, then the resource ID, then it takes the context, resource ID and text view ID, then it takes the context, the resource ID and the array of objects, and the constructor that we are interested in this. So context, then the resource type and the object, because we have the list. So we can say we can pass the context as the first parameter. So let's call it as main activity dot this, then r dot layout dot. So I want resource type, so it should be from the Android package, r dot layout dot, and we'll select simple items. So this will generate a checkbox list on the item list. So I can say on the item list, and I can set this particular array adapter to our list view. And now let's try to run the code and see what happens. Now, as you can see, it is basically displaying the items in terms of the checkbox list. Now let's try to see what are the different available options are there which will modify a list style here. So simple r dot layout dot, and we just want to create a checkbox kind of implementation. So I'll select a multiple choice and let's see how it displays the list. Okay, now as you can see, it is displaying the list it in this way. It's displaying the list it in this way. So I can check any of the list. Okay, and I can basically have a different names here. Now why it is displayed in this way? It's because of the toString method. Okay, so let me modify the toString method. So rather than returning the entire thing, I'll return just a name. So what I can have is return just a name. So when I do that, you'll be able to see it will be displayed in this way. So G9, HP, Logitech mouse, and the charger. Okay, so this is how you can actually display the checkboxes. Now, the assignment for you for today. So you have to complete the event handling on this as well as the previous example you are supposed to try. Okay. Now the most important thing I want to talk in the next upcoming 10 minutes is for this particular subject you have a PBL, project based learning. Have you an idea about this? Do you have any idea about this? So for this particular subject, you are having a PBL. That's a project based learning. Okay. Do you have any idea about this, or have you done the project based learning before? Yeah, just please answer me in the chat box. Just please answer it in the chat box. Okay, so I can come to know that you are attentive. Okay, because this is the most important discussion that we are going to have. Because your marks will be entirely based on the what assignments you perform, and at the same time you have a PBL evaluation for this. So you have a project-based learning activity. Yeah, so you have done a PBL before for a database. Okay, okay. So you know what there is in PBL, how to perform that. Okay. Now the question from my side is, okay. So we have two ways to work with this. So the first way is either you can choose your project topics and get it approved from me, or I have prepared a pre-defined list of projects. Okay, you just have to prepare the groups, and you have to feed your choice which topic you are going to select. So which way is better for you? Whether you are going to select your topics and get it approved from me, or you want to give me my topics and you will just type your group name in front of that and you will be working on that particular project. Okay. The reason behind I'm giving the second choice is I have worked on the different types of the project and scope of the project in such a way that you will be able to complete those particular projects in a single semester. They will be not too much difficult. They will not be too much easy as assignment. Okay. So I have correctly identified the scope of each topic, and then I have created the list of these topics. So let me know what is your choice, whether you are going to select the topics or get it approved from me, or the second choice. I will give you the topics and you have to select the proper topic that I'll be sharing a sheet with you, and then we can start working on our PBL. Let me know your choice. Yeah, so what do you think? We need to finalize it here only because from tomorrow we should actually start from the PBL. Yeah, so one student has said the second choice is better. What about other students? Okay, okay. So I'll be providing a list of topics to you. Okay, so topics are not too much difficult or too much easy. As I already said, as I already said, this has a scope which can be completed in a single semester. Okay, so we'll work on this particular thing. So I'll be sharing a sheet with you. Okay, so your job is to finalize your groups for the PBL, and once you finalize these particular groups, whatever the topics, uh, yeah, so you have to prepare groups. Whatever the topics I will give inside the Google Sheet, you just have to provide your group member's name in front of the topic. Now the topic selection will be entirely on first come first serve. Okay, so whatever topic you will select is entirely based upon the first come first serve basis. So make sure you should fill the choice as early as possible. Okay, so you can get the topic of your choice. Okay, and the second most important thing is whatever the PBL that you are going to work on, that must implement or that must include. Okay, so you should implement any of the version controls repository. Okay, so if you use GitHub, that will be okay. Okay, so regarding to the group size, uh, how many students you have in the class? How many students are there in the class? Yeah, 80 plus. Okay, so I can say